A few weeks ago, my life changed quite a bit. I lost my job. And when something like that happens, life doesn't suddenly stop just because the wage does. The rent still needs paying. The electric still comes out. You've still got the food shop, the car, things needed around the house. And in my case, I've got a wife and a young son as well. So there's still a family depending on you. And suddenly you start looking at things a little bit differently. What have I got coming in? What can I cut back on? What can I do a little bit more with? What have I already got that perhaps I can make work better? Because the bills aren't going to wait around while you work everything out. And one of the things I already had was LiveGood. Now, I'd been involved with LiveGood for quite a while. I could see the products, I could see the opportunity, I could see why people were building it and why some people were doing really well with it. But I also had to be realistic about my own situation. I wasn't getting enough new people seeing what I was doing. I could put another post on Facebook. I could share another link. I could put something into another group. I could do another post tomorrow. But if it keeps going around largely the same people, what's actually going to change? And that was the bit that made me start looking at things differently. Maybe I didn't need to run off and find another opportunity. Maybe I needed to make better use of the opportunity I already had. Maybe I simply needed more people seeing it. And that brings me to a question, a really simple one. Where are your next 10 new people coming from? Not the people who already follow you, not the friends who have already seen your live food posts, not somebody who's already looked at your link 3 or 4 times. I mean 10 genuinely new people. People who haven't heard what you've got to say yet, people who haven't looked at the products, people who haven't decided whether LiveGood is for them. Where are those 10 people coming from? Now, you might already have a good answer to that. And if you do, brilliant. Keep doing what's working. But maybe you're in a slightly different position. Maybe you've only just started with LiveGood and you're still trying to work out where those first customers are going to come from. Maybe you've been doing it for quite a while. You're making a few dollars. Maybe you're covering part of your monthly cost. Maybe you're covering all of it. Maybe you're already making a profit. Or maybe you're doing really well and you simply want another way of getting more fresh people looking at what you're doing. Everybody's going to be in a slightly different place, but the basic question is still the same. How do you get more people to actually see it? Because there's only so many times you can show the same people the same thing. And I think most of us have probably done this. You spend a bit of time putting a post together. You find a picture, you write something, you change a couple of lines because you think, nah, that doesn't sound quite right. Eventually you look at it and think, yeah, that'll do. So you post it. Then you come back later. There's a few likes, maybe a comment. And when you look at the names, half of them are the same people who saw the last one, and probably the one before that. There might be absolutely nothing wrong with your post. There might be absolutely nothing wrong with what you're offering. The problem is simply, where are the fresh eyes? Because posting and traffic aren't quite the same thing. Posting is useful. It can get people talking. It can build trust. It can help people get to know you. But it doesn't necessarily mean new people are coming into your world regularly. And social media can be a funny thing anyway. One day a post does really well. The next one barely seems to go anywhere. Algorithms change. Reach changes. Sometimes you can spend more time creating the post than anybody spends actually looking at it. And then there's paid traffic. Maybe you've tried some. Maybe you haven't. You might have looked at Facebook ads, boosted posts, solo ads, safe lists, traffic exchanges, different advertising sites. There are loads of ways of doing it, and some people are very good at paid advertising. Some people love it. Other people look at it and think, how much money am I going to have to keep putting into this? And that's fair enough, because traffic can get expensive. And just because somebody tells you they can send you 1,000 visitors doesn't automatically make those 1,000 visitors useful. A big number on a screen is nice, but that's not really what you want. You want people, fresh people, people who can actually look at what you're doing, people who might ask you a question, people you can have a conversation with, and then they can make their own mind up. That's the important bit. Because you don't need everybody, you just need to keep getting your business in front of new people. And I think this is where it's worth thinking about why you got involved with LiveGood in the first place. Everybody's reason is going to be different. Maybe you wanted a bit of extra money coming into the house. Maybe you wanted something that could eventually replace part of your income. Maybe you just wanted something that paid for itself. Maybe you want something much bigger than that. But just imagine something for a second. Imagine somebody put an extra $1,000 in your hand every month. What would you do with it? You'd find somewhere for it, wouldn't you? I know I would. Maybe it pays a few bills. Maybe it pays for a holiday. Maybe it goes towards the car. Maybe you put some away. Maybe you use it for the kids. Maybe it just means that when something unexpected comes through the door, you don't have to worry quite as much about it. Now, I'm not sitting here saying you're going to make $1,000 a month. That's not what I'm saying at all. The number isn't really the point. The point is, if you had extra income coming in, would it be useful? Of course it would. Whether that's a couple of $100, $1,000, or whatever number matters to you. And before any of that can happen, people have to actually see what you're doing. They can't buy something they've never seen. They can't ask you a question if they don't know you exist. They can't look at LiveGood if LiveGood never gets put in front of them. And that's why I started looking much more seriously at traffic. Not just thousands of random clicks, not just chasing numbers, fresh eyes, new people, more opportunities to start conversations. And no, more traffic doesn't automatically mean more customers. It doesn't automatically mean more people joining you. There are no guarantees with any of this, but you've got a much better chance of somebody taking an interest if they actually get the chance to see it in the first place. And sometimes I think that's the bit people miss. They start wondering if they need a different business, a different product, another opportunity, something else again, when actually maybe what they've already got just needs to be seen by more people. And there's another side to this as well. Doing nothing different has a cost. I'm not talking about fake deadlines or trying to frighten anybody into doing something. I just mean, if you already know you need more people seeing what you're doing, and another month goes by, and you're still posting in the same places, still reaching largely the same people, then you've got to ask yourself, is anything really going to change? Maybe it will. Hopefully it does. But it's worth looking at other options as well. And this is where traffic gets a little more interesting. Most people think about traffic in one of two ways. Either spend hours trying to create it organically, or pay money to get it. But there's another angle I want to show you. I'm deliberately not going to explain it here, because it makes much more sense when you see how the pieces fit together. And I'm not asking you to make some massive decision either. Just have a look. See what I'm talking about. See how the traffic works. Look at the numbers. And decide for yourself whether it could be useful alongside what you're already doing with LiveGood. Because I know what it's like to look at something you believe has potential and think, I just need more people seeing this. That's one of the reasons I wanted to show this to you. So let me go back to the question I asked you earlier. Where are your next 10 new people coming from? If you know, brilliant. But if you don't, or if you simply want another option, then take a couple of minutes and have a look at what I found. You might decide it's not for you. That's absolutely fine. But at least you'll know what it is. And if getting more fresh eyes on your LiveGood business would help, click Show Me How, have a look, see what you think, and make your own mind up.